Hey guys, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I got this '06 F250 with a 5.4 liter, and the customer's complaint is sometimes, not all the time, sometimes when I come out in the morning, the battery's dead. Now it's a work truck. The guy usually only uses it during the day. He's a landscaper. It's not even like it gets parked in the yard and that's it. At the end of the day, it's not like anybody takes this thing home. So he said it could sit overnight one night. Next day, it'll be dead. He said it could sit over the weekend and start up fine on a Monday. So what's going on? Well, the funny thing is, the sun has been beating down on this truck. It's right in the sun now, and something changed. What changed? Well, I happened to notice on the instrument cluster it would say "door ajar." Right there in the cluster, it would say "door ajar." It doesn't say it now. It's actually been sitting in the sun for 2 hours. I had to leave the truck to do something else. So I came back out to it. I already know what the problem is because I was, looking at it. I figured it out. The door switches on these are in the door latches. Now he doesn't want to put new switches in. He says just disconnect them. If the wires got to get looped, just loop the wires together. He goes, I don't care. He goes, I don't need a dome light. He goes, I don't even know if the dome light ever worked. So I'm like, okay. So what I did do is on my scanner here on my Snap-on, and I'm actually curious now. I'm going to go get the other one. Let me show you what I got. I picked out and I chose driver's door ajar status, left rear passenger door, and right rear. And as you see, it shows closed. But now, if you go ahead and you open up the driver's door here, see it goes to ajar. Close it, stays closed. Now the funny thing was, before just sitting there, all of a sudden it would go to ajar. Didn't touch anything. It would just go ajar. The driver's door and the passenger front door would go ajar. I don't think there's a switch for the rear. Let me open up the rear door. I'm not gonna film the door though because it's got the company name on it. But let me open up the door. Oh, actually, maybe it does have it. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't reading it right before. All right, so everything else was looking good, and there it went to closed. So you could see the status of certain switches with this, and this is actually in the instrument cluster, believe it or not. See, it actually says it right there, instrument cluster. So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the front door panels off, and we're going to disconnect those switches. He doesn't want to spend the money to replace them; just disconnect them. I got a funny feeling they have to be closed in order to read that the door latch is closed. It might be open. I don't know. We'll find out. But if they got to be closed, then all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the connector off and I'm just going to loop the wiring together. But let me get my other scanner because now this is a good one. I want to see if the other scanner is going to show this because so far the other scanner has done every single thing that the Snap-on scanner has done. Like I said, the only difference is that other scanner doesn't have troubleshooter like this does. So let's grab that and see what happens. So I got the launch scanner all hooked up here. Let's go to system selection and instrument cluster. Read data stream or data stream. All right, so let's see what we have here. I don't know. Driver's door switch status. Left rear, passenger door, right rear. Okay. Okay, so the driver's door is ajar, which it is. And it went to closed. See that? So this scanner so far has done every single thing the Snap-on's done. So, I had a lot of people ask me, if you look in the description, I put a link in there for a few different tools. This scanner is in there and it's a very good price. It's usually like $460. Sometimes if you keep watching it, it'll go to $390, I think, or $380 something. I don't recall. but you get a pretty good discount on it. Just gotta keep an eye on it, and you'll see that it comes up that way. All right, so let me start pulling door panels off this thing. We're gonna disconnect these front switches. With the screw out, this thing just slides right out. It's a T20 that holds that in place. Now, where else is this thing held on? Well, probably under here. Yep, there's an 8 right there. There's probably nothing under here, but a lot of times I will pop these off because they catch the door panel. Sometimes they tell you you don't have to, but I usually do. So now let's get that 8 out of there. Oh, it's a 7. Okay, hang on a second. With that screw out, you just take this light out. There should be another screw in there. There it is. We're going to take that one out. Now with that screw out, a lot of door panels are held in with clips. Like they call them Christmas trees. That's a nickname for them. They're basically push clips. They push in and lock everything in place. I'm pretty sure these door panels you pull up on, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's it. Pretty darn simple. So you take that, we're going to put that off to the side. Now this, the water shield, is a bone of contention for a lot of people. I've seen people shred these things. You shred them when you take them off. The problem is you can wind up with a water leak. What happens is water runs off the glass into the door, and as it hits the bottom of the glass, it ricochets inward, hits that water shield, and then down. If the water shield is not there, what happens is it hit the inside of the door panel and then leak inside the car. So if you're trying to get one of these off and it's got some glue that's holding it on really tight, take a razor blade in between there and use the razor blade to walk it through and cut that glue. So let's get this panel off. You don't have to peel it completely off because you just got to get to the latch. For my next trick, what we're going to do is we're going to roll the window back up. And really all we're going to do is just slide the handle on, crank the window back up. Okay, so inside the door, this wire here, can I focus on that? This wire here has the connector on the end. Can I get light in there, maybe? Let's see. I don't know if that's going to help you at all. Let's see what I got to do. Probably not, because I got to put my hand in there to block the light. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see it. So what you got to do is just got to get underneath it to disconnect it, which I don't even know if my hands can do it. All right, let me get in there somehow and get that disconnected. Basically, just push up on a clip on the bottom. And there it is, it's disconnected. And this thing just has that little push tab right there. And when you push it, you see that little piece right there. You see how it lifts up? That releases it, and then you pull it off. So now, let's find out if just being disconnected is all that's required. I got a funny feeling it's got to be connected. But let's find out. Let me roll the window down so I can do this from outside the truck. This doesn't have power locks, so I'm not worried about that. So we got the door closed. Let's turn the key on. Oops, let me find the key. Oops. Hold on. Jamming up the key here. Hello. Actually, we can turn this off. Alright, so it's not showing it. And now, when you open up the door, lock the door, see, it doesn't change. If I open up the back door, see, there goes the door ajar. So, and I said before though, I was just going to disconnect the fronts. I'm going to do all 4. The reason being is because it happened to these 2 fronts, it's going to happen to the rear. The reason it happened to the 2 fronts is obviously these are the 2 doors that I use the most often, so they're just worn out or whatever. Anyway, whatever. Customer's other complaint was that the chime sometimes is going off even with the key out of it. It did happen to me once, never again. It's probably the bad key in ignition, the little micro switch that's there that tells you that the key is in there so you don't leave the keys in accidentally. But all of a sudden it stopped doing it. Unless I can get it to do it, I can't really do anything with it. So let me do all these other doors and then we're going to finish this up. The back door is pretty much exactly the same. The only difference is it doesn't have that trim piece up there, but it's pretty much exactly the same, slightly different water shield. The connector, once I took it off, I tied it to itself on the harness, which is right there. I did the same thing in the front, just the way it doesn't catch anything. So basically on the passenger side, it's exactly the same thing. To pop this cover down, just got a screwdriver behind the edge of it, And usually you just work it out like this and it'll pop it. I got to do it with two hands because you want to have pressure on it with one hand while you're doing this, and it'll usually release the outer cover. And once you get that cover to release, just move it over. That's all you got to do. And then this way you can get to the screw inside. So yeah, like I said, it was a T20 Torx. So I just took it down the street just to see if the chime would possibly go off, like, because maybe it had a pinched wire somewhere. I mean, you never know. Could have a rub through wire, pinched wire, whatever. And I had nothing. Everything was good. So I'm hoping that's it. I'm going to leave it here near the office with the window down. I'm going to take the key out just to see if the chime starts going off on its own, because that's what he said. He said every once in a while it goes off on its own, but I don't know. Maybe the computer was seeing something with the door being open and it was trying to alert somebody. I don't know. I got no idea. Like I said, I heard it at one time and it was quick, so whatever. Alright, so hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. Tell your friends too. Tell them to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Alright guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.